Hey everybody, this is Jund for MTG Nexus coming at you with another donation deck list. This particular one is by Space Marine, and for those of you that have been around the channel for any length of time, you know Space Marine is an absolute control enthusiast, apologist, aficionado, whatever you wish to call him. If it has blue and white cards in it, and now apparently if it has Uro, it's a fair game. So, we are playing a Yurion Bant control list, brought to you by Space Marine. One thing, for some reason, Space Marine, I hope you get in here soon, you have 81 cards in your deck. We're trimming one of them. I'm not playing the 81 card special. We're already playing 80. That's more than enough to cram everything into a deck. So anyways, Yurion control. Those of you familiar with this has been a thing in Standard, in Modern, basically any format. I think it's even starting to invade Legacy. Basically, you play an 80 card good stuff deck and then throw a Yurion as the kind of cherry on top. Yurion is the companion that requires you to play the 80 card deck minimum, which means people go from 60 to 80 to get the blink ability of this, so you tend to play a bunch of permanents that blink and get value off of this. So you look at this list, you're playing things like Arkham's Astrolabe, Abundant Growth, and some number of Omen of the Sea. These are all kind of standard thoroughfare as far as things to blink. Other things you can get value off of: Icefang, Coatl, Teferi Time Raveler, potentially if you've blinked it. Stuff like that. So that's kind of what you're trying to do. You're leveraging these cards to gain extra value whenever you play Yurion. Often comes down, it's a 2 or 3 for 1 before it's even done anything that's aside from attacking your opponent, etc. Beyond that, this is a blue-white control shell that has Icefang, Coatl, and Uro attached. These cards need no introduction. Icefang Coatl pairs nicely with your Arkham's Astrolabes and all of your snow-covered stuff. And then Uro, obviously, this is just kind of the value closer to the game. Beyond that, you're playing Jace the Mind Sculptor, Teferi, and little Teferi here to enable various different things. Obviously, Jace the Mind Sculptor pretty good at burying your opponent card advantage with the Brainstorm effects. Teferi, effectively a 3-mana Planeswalker the turn you play it. And then, to round out, you have some removal spells in the form of Path to Exile, Winds of Abandon, which is basically Path to Exile with a little bit steeper mana cost with the ability to potentially overload and kill all your opponent's creatures. And then 1 copy of Supreme Verdict. Sorry, 2 copies of Supreme Verdict here, kind of round out the removal split along with Icefang Coatl. Beyond that, you have some Mana Leaks, some Deprives, some Archmage's Charms, Force of Negations, and Cryptic Commands to kind of leverage to keep your opponent's problematic spells from resolving. You also have 2 copies of Timely Reinforcements in the main, so a little bit of a hedge against burn and prowess and such, which can sometimes get under these particular shells. Then looking at the sideboard, you're playing a rather well-balanced sideboard. 2 copies of Veil of Summer for any type of discard or counterspell mirror. 2 copies of Dovin's Veto. Anytime you need a negate. 2 copies of Disdainful Stroke, pretty good in the mirror matches, as well as pretty good against big mana. Celestial Purge, pretty nice removal spell against anything with black or white cards, or black or red cards, so basically the Lurrus decks. And then 3 copies of Ashiok Dreamweaver, because, shutting off your opponent's things, milling them out, etc. And then, not quite sure why he has the 3 Angel package. Obviously, this used to be a staple in some of the kind of mid-range-ish control-ish decks to have these 2. And Sigarda is an interesting one. This keeps your opponent from being able to make you sack things, as well as it has hexproof in and of itself, so it's a very difficult card to kill. Really hard, can't get it with removal spells. Basically, you can only kill it with sweepers or in combat. Lyra obviously pumps up the other 2 angels, has lifelink, first strike. Baneslayer Angel, much the same thing, although it randomly has protections from demons and dragons. Doesn't usually come up too terribly often, although it can occasionally come up if you're staring down a Gristlebrand. I have like a Neo brand in the mid game. So beyond that, Still got to figure out what the last card to cut is, and I was kind of hoping Space Marine would be here while I was yammering on, but I think it comes down to one of the counter spells, maybe an Omen of the Sea, but I really think I want the Omen of the Seas, so I think it might be Deprive. It's either Deprive or Mana Leak. Could see it being an Archmage's Charm or a Cryptic Command. Card I'm my least interested in. I think in a going long game, that Mana Leak is kind of the card you want to see the least. So I am going to trim a Mana Leak, and apologies to Space Marine for trimming, but I do want the clean 80-15 sideboard. So that said, let's hop into a league because, you know, these control leagues tend to take a while. So we are joining. Let the games begin. So I'm curious, I'm going to be doing something here. Flipping over. Nope, it's live. Just making sure I wasn't having issues broadcasting. Alright. We're on the play, which is nice. E-card versus a 60 card deck. Reveal Yurion. So we are on the play against a deck with no companions. So none of our early plays, a bunch of Archmage's Charms. I think I'm going to go ahead and mulligan this hand with no interaction. So, or no relevant gameplay before turn number 3. So this hand's a little bit better. Like, we at least have Abundant Growth and a Force of Negation here. I'm going to go put back the Field of Ruin. It's the least thing that helps our mana, so I think I'm going to fetch guess we have to grab Breeding Pool here with this one. Okay, and tripping. Once again, we at least have Force of Negation to stop some type of nonsense if they're like a Neoform deck or any of that kind of nonsense. So okay. Boom bust. Feel like I'm supposed to pitch. Is it crazy to pitch Uro here? I'm not a huge Yurion fan either, but it's something, you know? Alright, so what am I pitching here? I feel like it's Uro. Like, obviously we want to have a way to close out the game, but it's like we have a progression here, so that would have gotten us rather brutally if they'd resolved that. Opponent is likely a Blood Moon deck, so Quaddle, we need to hit land drops. Nice, nice. So I'm just going to hold up Archmage's Charm here, because they could be, once again, they could be a Blood Moon deck. Not that that's terribly relevant against us, but still annoying enough that, you know. Opponent has burned a lot of resources on trying to resolve these spells. So I still think we cast Astrolabe first. Yeah. Counter spells are going to be down for a turn, unfortunately. Yeah, village resolves, unfortunately. So I do find it funny, James, that the Master of Ceremonies is not here. Like, he knew we were doing his deck tonight. I think I'm supposed to play Teferi here, but it's possible that you know, possible we're supposed to keep the counterspell up this turn, but at some point we obviously have to. Sure, I don't particularly care about Teferi dying. Teferi did its job. Jace is nice. I think we just go ahead and play the Astrolabe. Vista allows us to keep up Archmage's Charm this turn. Can also... he might have had to work in the morning too. Like, he's not able to make every stream, so... I think on that note we have to counter this. Cryptic Command, huh? I think we continue to hold up Cryptic Command. Once again, we have the clock, no matter how slow it is. Opponent might be trying to go for a double spell turn. One, two, three, four, five. Still one mana short of being able to do the thing. Yeah, don't care terribly much about Simian Spirit Guide. Mystic Sanctuary, put an Archmage's Charm back on top. I think it was actually supposed to be Force of Negation here. And then Okay. Did I choose the wrong mode? Apparently I chose the wrong mode. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait to ferry. Yeah, I meant to play the draw the card mode, but sure. I mean, if they want a double bolt to ferry, I think I'm okay with that. Means their last card in hand's a Spirit Guide. That's so bad. Yeah. We'll just continue to pull ahead. Draw a card. I think we'll just hang back with Coatl here. %, trading. Sure. Yeah, a little bit. Mystic Sanctuary, get back Archmage's Charm. Yes. One, two, three. Let's just go ahead and play. Do this. Guess we go ahead and bounce that. If they have their, what, 4th bolt effect, more power to them, I suppose. Snap resolving. Draw some cards. So, I'll start by brainstorming here. Put back that and that. Play this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I can do the Yurion plus hold up Cryptic Command thing. Sounds like something I am in the market for here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I can blink, draw 2 cards. I think I'm cool with that. May as well blink out Jace too. Reset its loyalty. Draw cards. Discard, that's unfortunate, but go pitch. Abundant Growth. Sitting here with a pile of counter spells and Molten Rain. So what are the odds this Molten Rain is a setup for something else? That's fine. Snaring Bridge. Don't normally care about Ensnaring Bridge, but Man Link will deal with that. Only concern is so far ahead, I'm just going to use Jace to tempo their dude out so we don't have to worry about anything basically here. Kill them into pass turn. Countered. Resolves. Okay. Bottom, bottom. Prive, good. Land, good. Bounce, Spirit Guide. Yurion, kill you. Not really, but pretty much. Counter target spell. Draw a card. This means Spirit Guide. Doesn't matter. Alright. So, the all blue deck, or the all red deck. Guessing I want Celestial Purges. Probably want Dovin's Vetoes to have some more early counters. Might want Disdainful Strokes. Don't think Timely Reinforcements is particularly relevant. I mean, it can be, because obviously they have things like, you know, Rabble Masters and such. So, forces are kind of important. We shave a Cryptic Command. Crazy to shave Winds of Abandon here. Down Winds of Abandon, a Supreme Verdict. And maybe Teferi. Like, one of Teferi seems fine, but it's not great in the matchup. Alright, so once again, need to play quickly. Yurion, go. Alright, Hannah's Force of Negation, cantrip, keep. Sneaper Keeper. Yield to return. Deprive at this point. Actually, I think pitching Deprive there was incorrect, because Deprive could potentially protect the land that it was trying to target. Pass turn. Please be like a Rabble Master. Of course, you're forcing me to use counter spells on keeping my lands alive, which means your threats are probably going to resolve. Yield through the turn. Yep, annoying card. Really? Trinisphere. Okay. Yeah, you definitely late. We found Mono Red Prison right off the bat. Not much. Boring, mindless control stuff. You know, the way you like it. Sure. I think we want Cryptic Command here. I don't think we want Jace. I think I'm just going to hold up Cryptic Command here. Like, I could get... am I supposed to get Teferi down here? Doesn't feel like it. Feels like I'm just supposed to continue on the course with a Cryptic Command now. Cough of the Hammer. Okay. Sanctuary, put Cryptic back on top. I was gonna say, is our opponent finally conceding? Probably not. That'd make too much sense. Okay. Molten Rain. Their opponent locked under their own Trinisphere. That was dumb. I should have attacked with the other whatchamacallit here. For now, we'll just tick up. That was a nice draw. Insulates us against basically anything they could have drawn here. Yeah. Alright, and our opponent skips it up. So Space Marine, you know you submitted a 81 card deck, right? Okay. I cut it to 80, so I apologize. I cut a mana leak. Because I noticed when I saw some of the other players, like Spike and them, playing these Yurion decks, that mana leak was like the card that had the most diminishing value going long. So I opted to cut that particular card. It's the aesthetics of it at that point. 80 is already narrow enough. Besides, you're really running on the lower end on the land counts, so... So we're on the play... Mana Leak's fine, but like I said, it has the most diminishing returns. This hand's a mulligan, right? No interaction before turn 3. Can't even cast Archmage's Charm. I feel like this hand's just a mulligan. Not that this hand's much better. You put back Field of Ruin, I guess. What, that first hand? I'm not keeping... No. You might think it's so good you can keep any hand, but I'm not. I've done enough losing today, okay? I'm trying to win some games here. Is this worth fighting over with Deprive? I don't think so. I think this is the mono blue deck I actually ran into earlier, which is ironic. It's a nice one. Dude, I've already got my butt kicked in like a bunch of different formats today. I'm good. Like, I got destroyed in Pioneer today. I'm really done with Think and resolve. Yeah, this is definitely the this is definitely the blue-red control deck I played against earlier, at least a variant of it. I lost to it with Budget Vern of all things. 3 mana. Archmage's Charm. Counter target spell. If our opponent has land bolt, God bless them. Looks like they don't. So if I could guarantee another land drop, I'd 100% play Uro here, but we can't, so... Pass turn. Yep, thinking the ice resolves because it doesn't really do a bloody thing. Sure. This is where having Teferi superiority is just stupid. Yeah, I have to agree. Lurrus Burn with Baubles isn't cheap. So, Foz has me doing a hopefully we hit a land here, but if we don't, Deprive is fine. Not the best land, but does what we want it to do well enough. I think we just hold up our mana here. Do I just let them draw cards here? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think we just let them draw cards here. Yeah, if they want to spin their tires, that's fine. Oh yeah, I'm definitely keeping 3 Fairy around. I think I'm going to path this on end of turn just to get it out of the way. It's giving them mana, yeah, which is annoying, but with all their counter spells kind of locked up, it really doesn't particularly matter. Feels like it's Uro time, right? Grab another blue source here. Green, green. Morning, Antion. How are you? I'm trying to be. It's not the easiest thing with control decks after I spent all day getting obliterated in Pioneer. Oh, it's about 12:19 in the morning here. Sure, you can draw cards all day. I don't particularly care. Sure. Sure, Snapcaster resolves. I don't particularly care about anything in your graveyard. Well, it's not that Pioneer's a trash fire format. It's the fact that it's a format that I don't have as much experience with the top tier decks. So I played a complete linear pile, so to speak. And the one thing about Garuda Combo is very susceptible to disruption. And the first couple rounds, I ran into that disruption. So, what am I putting back here? Am I putting back Path or Cryptic? Feel like Chicken tonight. Feel like I just want an endless supply of counter spells. I'm not entirely sure what my opponent's plan is, but it doesn't seem like they brought the right tools to the job for a control mirror. Yeah, fine, whatever. Deal Teferi 2 damage. Doesn't matter. Opt away. Just as long as they're not playing whatever Jacob, whatchamacallit was talking about on Twitter, Jacob Szymanski today, was talking about playing some type of lack of a better term, was playing a, okay, so you get to fetch during your upkeep. Cool. Okay, you still can't cast anything, so... Oh, I'm sure that's their plan. I don't particularly care. Nope. I guess I can pitch Timely since, you know, we're not casting that for any value this game. They could have Niv Mizzet in their deck. I know Jacob Kaminsky was working on that. Bolt resolves. Magmatic Sinkhole. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Deprive. Turn that to my hand. Yep, Niv the Perun. Sure. Mana Leak. All right. Cool. I agree. I'm just saying he was playing it. So, Timely can go out. I think we want at least one Purge, maybe two. Vetoes can come in. Veils can come in. You know what's really funny is my YouTube studio says I only have one current viewer. Okay. Definitely want these in. At least one Purge, because they could have Blood Moon. Although, Blood Moon's less in vogue with Mystic Sanctuary in the deck. I'm still going to play it. I don't think this is an Ashiok matchup. And go down a Verdict. Well, the problem with that, like, I agree you don't want Mana Leak. Alright, I mean, we'll try it. Could certainly run into some problems with Mana Leak not being in the deck. Because we were on easy mode there because we drew one of our 2 Teferis. So we got to keep that in mind. And then... You sent me the list with the angels. I wasn't going to change your deck, dude. Right, let's go down to Winds of Abandon. Standard commander, basically. I didn't change... All I did was cut a card from the main deck. I didn't change the sideboard. I had no issues with the sideboard. This hand's extremely vulnerable to Blood Moon, but I guess we keep. Relic, sure, whatever. It's the aesthetics. So we're vulnerable as Hades to Blood Moon here, but it's cool, I guess. Yeah, sure. See, Space Marine, this is one of my concerns with the deck is we are a little light on mana. So, like, we do have to spend our first couple turns digging for mana in these situations. It could be devastating. Like, if our opponent lands something here that we actually care about, we're going to have a hard time fighting through it. Just go to end step and discard. It's very clear they're sitting on a counter spell. Probably afraid of Teferi. So I think we just pitch Supreme Verdict here. Yeah, you can Archmage's Charm to your heart's content here, friend. Still think we pitch. It's either Verdict or Path here. I think Verdict makes more sense. It leaves us to vulnerable to something like a Niv Mizzet, but I think if our opponent wanted to go hard enough to play Niv Mizzet, then yeah, sure, whatever. I'm not trying to waste time. See if they aggressively counter this. Okay. This is how we lose. Yeah, sure. No, I still want to get some more information first. Like, at this point, we're... I suppose, but I think you're playing way too few lands. I think ideally you want to be playing like 32, 33, maybe even 34. Sure. Not fighting over Snapcaster Mage, Archmage's Charm. Opponent gets to draw a billion cards, which is fine. But it's also what builds the most variance into the game, too. So... Sure. Put a Quaddle. Sure. I think pitching Jace is the right call there. $30, which is the equivalent of 23.5 if you melt it down to 60 card standards. Okay, sure. $23 is a little low. Like, our opponent's gonna win this game, but like... Yeah, but the more you spend your early turns having to churn through those, the worse off you are. Yeah, they certainly do. But then again, the reason we're losing is... Are they about to cryptic command a land? I mean... I guess I play Force of Negation on it. Sure. Whatever. Random time to activate your relic. I don't know. It depends on what win cons they left in their deck. Like, keeping in mind, we still have to answer the Snapcaster range before we're dead, and they might have multiple bolts in hand. So, sure. Whatever. Sure. Very random time. Oh, the opponent's playing terribly, but they're so far ahead because of us stumbling in the early turns that I'm not sure it matters. So I'm conceding at this point just because I don't want our opponent seeing the rest of our deck. Invisible Bandit can go out. It looks like they boarded out Thing in the Ice. Purge is fine against Ashiok. Now that we've seen that as well. Is it crazy to bring in a Sigarda Space Marine? Stroke didn't seem like it has a lot of targets either. Yeah, walkers that don't answer Snapcaster Ball. I think I'm going to risk boarding out the Verdict. Okay, that seems fine. A little bit awkward, but fine. Mana situation's what's awkward for us. I think I'm going to lead off on Basic Island here, because we don't need more information about what we're fetching with our Flooded Strand. Adrenaline in the flow. Everyone wants for me to know. Out the box before. Well, we know they probably still have Cryptics in their deck in some number, and then they probably have we've seen at least one Row each game, so I'm gonna laugh if they jam turn 2 Thing in the Ice here. Of course they do. Why wouldn't they, right? Guess they banked on us removing some of our removal spells. Missed a point of damage there. Sure. Timely is not a removal spell against certain portions of the meta, man. Yeah, Mystical Dispute in last turn. Pitched a Snapcaster Mage. Counter what, man? You're going to be behind by several seconds. Sure. Problem is, our opponent's in the awkward spot where their thing in the ice can't really successfully attack. So... Dude, I'm not arguing that there isn't enough ways to deal with creatures. I'm just saying... Oh, that's annoying. Clearly this is a bait spell. Clearly I'm going to let it resolve. Sure. Deprive on the top of our deck. Cast Astrolabe. Get back Deprive. No, I don't think the opponent was... It just happened during the course of counterspelling things. This is where Disdainful Stroke obviously isn't the best. Unless one of their 2 cards in hand's Cryptic Command. Wow. Okay. Game over. You lose. Disdainful Stroke. Force Negation. Don't want to do that. I was going to play a Yurion to bury them, but... If their last card was Mystical Dispute, that would have severely hampered our line. Well, I know they play that many cryptics. I just wasn't sure how many they were going to leave in. It's Uro time. We're gonna bury your hind end in this game. He's on the ropes 13 turns from now. Sure, you can put Archmage's Charm back on top. That's fine. I'm not There's no reason to Yurion. We're already so far ahead. No reason to tap low on counter magic. Absolutely none. He's on the ropes 13 turns from now. Indeed. I have never said you need Scapeshift to finish. I just simply preferred that if I was going to play a Yurion build myself, that I was going to play a Scapeshift build. Lurrus deck. On the play. So do we roll the dice that they're actually Jund or burn and keep this hand? I think this is a keep. We're gonna gamble. I'm in a gambling kind of mood. Feels like there still could be either deck. I'm guessing Jund or Death Shadow, though. Yep, Jund. Alright, they're living up to their namesake at least. Thoughtseize. Take your pick, my friend. I'm going to guess you're going to take Winds of Abandon. Just guessing. They took timely reinforcements. Interesting. I wonder if they're the red-black prowess deck. That would make some sense. Yeah, get to see what card I'm drawing. That's cool. Could fetch, but I want to leave the maximum number of blue sources in my deck to draw one. And we draw Forest. Womp, womp, womp. hard to say. I mean, Jund might be a good matchup, but we are, like, our hand is awkward. Like an Astrolabe or something along those lines. That looks like they're Jund. Jund they are. Feels like this is going to be a run in 6, and that's going to be a problem. That is the one card your deck is ill-equipped to deal with. Confidant. They're confident in their victory. Really don't like tapping low, but obviously we have no other plays here anyway, so we're just gonna give them a land and get rid of that Bob. Be gone, Bob. You've been a bad boy, Bob. This does give them Lurrus, which is annoying. Still don't understand why they took... So what are we pitching here is the question mark. What do we pitch? What do we pitch? What do we pitch? Cryptic Command's obviously the most powerful... Not sure what to pitch here. Alright. Dark Confidant is referred to as Bob because the gentleman whose art is on the original card is Bob Maurer. It was back when there was this thing called an invitational, and the winner of the invitational got to win the card, pretty much. Or got to design a card, and Dark Confidant was the card that he did. Yeah, I saw Cryptic. I'm wondering if our opponent is a Death Shadow build, the way they're attacking their own life total here. Back when Watsy didn't suck. Well, sugar plums. I hate discard spells sometimes. I think... Is it just Archmage's Charm and draw 2? Feels like it's just Archmage's Charm and draw 2. No, I don't really like Ice Fang here. Either way, they're going to get to resolve the card and then bring back Kroxa, so we're in quite a bit of trouble either way here. We need to rip Path much bad. So, Fortunately, with Omen of the Sea, we have the outs. But the opponent is very much grinding us down here. Pitching Field of Ruin, not even close. Because we can't choke them on mana, so. So we got 4 looks at a Path of Ruins. Main phase. Bottom. Verdict's okay, I guess. Go ahead and do this. Maybe they'll deploy Lurrus into it too. If they have another discard spell here, we're in a lot of trouble. Meddling Mage can be the most, I think in some ways, the most annoying of them. So, opponent's just like lining up. Okay, you have the answer. Okay, you have the answer. Okay, do you have the answer? Pitch that. Sure. I know I'm missing out on some potential value with Yurion down the line, but I think we need to... Hello there. Down bottom, put that on top. Yeah, the unfortunate problem here is we don't get to keep up white for that guy, so... I think we're going to lose this game. No, we're still in a lot of trouble. Because we're taking a hit from... maybe I was supposed to leave Field of Ruin on top. Because we're taking the hit from... Yeah, if they have Bolt here, we're just dead. I mean, Jund can poke holes in things. That's what it does. You know, this is a more aggressive, bent version of Jund. Sure. Tomato, tomato. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Field wouldn't have mattered here. We'd still be in the same position. Snapcaster Mage. You have the Bolt. Okay. Doesn't matter what we took there. Veils are coming in. Celestial Purges are coming in. Sigarda's coming in. think we just bring all the heavy hitters here. Obviously, Disdainful Stroke's terrible against the whatchamacallit deck. Yeah, but they still might have Boil and such, so... So what, you don't think we bring in Veil against the discard spell deck? Cut 5 Fairy? Why would I cut 5 Fairy? Okay. It's one of our main sources of card advantage in this matchup. Why wouldn't I just cut 3 Fairy? Oh, I'm definitely leaving in some number of forces. Because Renin 6 is still a card, too. Because he dies? So does Jace. Okay, I don't feel 3 Fairies good in this matchup, but I suppose it could be alright. And then, what else are we cutting? Timelies. Even though they took Timelies, I don't think Timelies is particularly good in this matchup. Alright, we'll do that. Hand's fine. I think you're overstating how good the matchup is. Like, I really think you're overstating how good the matchup is. I think it's good, but Jund can certainly win. The Blue Treasure Hunt with Thassa. I don't know, Kaios. You'd have to send me a list. I'm not familiar with it. Okay, so they're probably taking Path here. Took Utopia Sprawl. Interesting. So I feel like they're setting up for a run on 6 then. Of course, we draw the Mana Leak. Just gonna play the land tap and pass. Well, I agree we don't want Sigarda in the opener. It does... I like Sigarda. I think it's an underplayed card. Opponent with a really awkward start. don't think we're going to want to cast both Coatl and Path this turn, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Also comes in the blue matchups. We brought it in against Blue Moon. Or whatever nonsense that was that we played last round. Feels like chicken tonight. Like chicken tonight. Sure. I mean... Okay. I really feel like our opponent's fighting the wrong battle. Although I did forget to flip mana, which is on me. Yeah, I had a minor oopsie there. Yeah, I should have floated mana in response. Okay. I could just slam Sigarda here. But I think I'm more interested in holding up Cryptic Path right now. Because the Jund player are gonna Jund. Like, I mean, it drains my mana. But, like... What's the point? Sigarda at Sigarda. So locked in on Sigarda, aren't you? I swear to the Lord Almighty, if I get hit by something as stupid as an extinction event, because you told me to tap out, you and I are going to have some issues. About to get hit by a boil. Is that what they've been trying to set up, as boil? If that's what they were trying to set up, why wouldn't they go... I don't know. Sure, another Tarmogoyf. They mistapped if they're going to play Lurrus. They are obsessed with destroying that Hallowed Fountain. Okay. Space Marines answered everything. Sigarda. How do you beat Jund? Sigarda. How do you beat Jund? Sigarda. Bad Jund player is bad. Well, keeping in mind that bad Jund player did win game number 1, so... Well, it was... There was... Between the Cryptic Command and the other Ice Thing in hand, there was no way we were losing in that spot. Alright, well, I'm going to trim the Baneslayer, get us back down to 8. Well, do that. I think we keep this hand. It's a little bit awkward, but I still think we keep it. Turn 1, discard spell. Sure. Targeting themselves. Okay, probably targeting us. These hands are so absurd out of their deck. Alright. Hit me with a green source. Can I get a green source dealer? Sure. Deprive might actually have been a card that should have gone out here. Just setting ourselves back a resource against Jund doesn't feel great. Especially if we get hit with a Ren and Thixth here. Well, Tarmogoyf's not great for us, but I think it's the least threatening of their 2-mana plays here. Alright, there's an Uro. Likely casting Omen of the Sea, but holding open the possibility of casting Deprive if there's something game-breaking this turn. Well, I know we don't want to mulligan against the discard deck, but that doesn't mean we don't have to sometimes. Resolves. Need a white source, a white source. That qualifies as a white source. Alright, so we have Verdict rolled up. Hopefully they don't have a discard spell here. EE on 1 again? Sure. No, I wanted to hold up Deprive if absolutely necessary and Omen of the Sea here. Feel like we're past the point of wanting that. For it. Okay, cool. Draw a card, sure. They would have played a discard spell by now, so it's kind of eh. I don't understand the Engineered Explosives play. I really don't. Opponent's got a Bob. So what do we do, oh wise one? Do we dig for Path to Exile here? Yeah, I suppose that was my initial thought, but we already have so many cards in hand, it's like, do we want a Yurion yet? Alright. As you command. Discarding Uro? At least it's a tap land. Well, we're going to need Labe to rebuild at some point anyway with the mana, so... Oh my god. No blocks. Why is the screen shrunk? Because I have so many cards in hand and I have so many other things closed. Oh, Astrolabe to broken. Pretty much. That's a straw, then explodes it. Let's just end this nonsense. Time to end this farce. The Astrolabe forces the concession. Astrolabe, too powerful. You know what? I will be right back. I need to go use the restroom. Bathroom is currently occupied. We ain't going another 2 hours tonight, Space Marine. If this lasts another 40 minutes, then I'm calling it a night after fourth round. Would be kind of ironic if we do 5-0 with this deck, though. I've never really liked Snappy in blue-white. It's not good in blue-white. It's better in Jeskai and Esper, but it's not good in blue-white. And Bant doesn't really add anything meaningful. Well, to be fair, these matchups just go forever. I generally play, because it's me, it's a control deck. And remember, last time out, I can't play Bant. Yes, I'd like to play first. Kahira. Well, we're either up against Miracles or we're up against Sword Combo. So I think this hand's a keep either way. This is going to be rough because I have a bad feeling this is Miracles. I don't know about all that. Especially when we do draw basic planes, Counterbalance might be garbage, but it's a pretty decent card. It's in fact Miracles. Well, I mean... hopefully... Well, first we gotta survive Counterbalance, and then we have to survive Force of Negation. I guess for now, we just go ahead and plus. So I don't think they have any way to take it off the table. Don't make promises you don't want to keep, my man. So I guess we could jam Jace here, but I think I'm more inclined to hold up Cryptic Command this turn. Oh, I'm not saying it's not better in the matchup. I'm just simply saying bad things can happen and you can lose. That's all I'm saying. No, I don't think we want a Jace here because I think our opponent's about to jam their own Jace. Well, the funny part about the Miracles portion of Miracles is it's terrible against one of our 2/3 fairies. But once again, we got lucky to draw one of our 2/3 fairies in this game. These out, these out, these out. Some number of paths likely out. Okay, calm down, Space Marine. I'm not saying we're going to lose the match. I'm simply saying there is always the possibility that we don't. So, tranquilo. Actually, you know what? I want to leave in 1 or 2 copies of Supreme Verdict to answer, whatchamacallit. Leaving these in to deal with Kahira. We want to leave in Supreme Verdict to deal with Entreat, potentially, if that resolves. And then Sigarda might be too cute. Yeah, I think Ashiok's actually a better win con there. And then maybe go down. Yeah, I don't like the angel. Yeah, we need at least one answer to angels just in case. I think it's not too crazy to go down an Uro here. That way we're not too glutted on 3 drops. I think we keep this hand. It's awful clunky. Yeah, I was thinking too much. All fairies are annoying. Alright, Deprive isn't great, but at least if they don't have a counterbalance on 2, it gives us some outs. So I guess we cycle, potentially cycle Veil of Summer in response, hope to draw a Force of Negation. It's a long shot, but I think we're better off doing it here. It's unfortunate. It could matter at the worst possible time, which is what I'm really not hoping for. Like, if it even spikes us once, we could really be in some trouble. Hit the land like a champ. There's some... If we knew we were hitting another land drop guaranteed, I'd jam Uro here. But I just don't think it's worth the risk. Cryptic Command on top. Interesting. Find it interesting that they would counter a... there. So now they have Cryptic Command in hand. I think Omen of the Sea is fine-ish. No sense in trying to do anything here because their opponent having access to... well, the problem is they already have access to a 1 and 4 because of the 2 flooded strands. So... we just move to discard and pitch. What are we pitching here? Mystic Sanctuary on top. I'm doing this specifically because we have the 2 Force of Negations. Oh, I definitely am. But I get the distinct impression they don't have too many answers to creatures left in their deck, which is why they are fighting over Uro so hard. What are they even trying to do? Okay, now they're going to try to blind hit Woman of the Sea. Okay. Resolves. That's good. Play land tapped because it doesn't matter. So if they find a 3, we're in trouble here. Doesn't seem likely. Snow covered island, sure. Field of Ruin may even help give us the checkbox here. Well, that, and if you also listen to him very, very carefully, he was also a former Miracles player in Modern, so he's very good at the repetitions of the deck. So, I'm going to try to use the restroom one more time. I will be right back. Space Marine. We'll be Space Marine. Oh, War Dog, you're leading the problems. Y'all are crazy. Y'all are freaking crazy. You have work at 6:30. Space Predator, what are you still doing up? I appreciate you hanging out, man, but that's late. Alright. Hand's great. Buy its stuff. Ooh. Well, hello there. Well. This should be interesting. Don't like our chances against regular Tron. I know, but all that takes is one Ulamog and we're screwed. Oh, it's bad Tron. Okay. I don't think I care about Mind Stone. Bad Tron that could still beat us. That leak is terrible. I don't even know if we're going to win the match, but that alone was just like, worth it. I screwed up with my fetching there. Please just be Endbringer or Walking Ballista. Feels like Walking Ballista. Well, we needed the white source is the problem. So I needed to fetch the white source with the Karn, go get Well, Karn without Last is still going to be destroying a land a turn, so we're still in quite a bit of trouble. Yeah, it does. Liquid metal coating, target a land, turns it into an artifact. Karn plus destroys it. Because they cast Sundering Titan. Well, I'm leaving Force in. I was going to say, Sundering Titan was about to take 3 of our lands, so... No, you want Mana Leaks in. Mana Leaks are better than some of the other counter spells. Leak is only bad if they specifically have Tron, which they're not going to have every game. This hand is hecka awkward. I still think we keep it, but it is awkward. On the draw, maybe. Look it up. It's a doozy. Part of the reason I boarded out 1 Uro and boarded in the Angels was because of Relic of Progenitus. Really? You about to have turn 2 Thought Knot? So annoying. Yeah, sure, whatever. Doesn't matter. Just an annoying... Planning on it, but that doesn't mean we're any less behind. We're now behind 4 mana to 2. Possibly more. They have another one? Sure, whatever. Presume you take to Fairy or Archmage's Charm here. Like, we can't cast Archmage's Charm. Notice that's an enter and leaves play trigger, so in order to deal with Sundering Titan, you lose 6 lands. Or in our case, 4. And since they have no basic land types, they don't lose anything. Well, we have a plan to play towards now. Sure. Guess our best bet is to balance Thought Not Seer, live for a turn, and either hope to rip Verdict or another Angel. That's presuming our opponent has nothing else in hand that matters. Well, to be fair, we were kind of screwed by Thought Not Seer into Thought Not Seer anyway, but, you know, don't let details like that mess with you too much. We still have Supreme Verdict as an out, or the other Angel. They have Dismember, obviously they'll take anything but Baneslayer Angel. Yeah, Deprive definitely has drawbacks sometimes. It's, you know, a 4-0 run and having things not line up in a matchup, especially when your opponent goes turn 2 Thought Not Seer, turn 3 Thought Not Seer, turn 4 Reality Smasher. It's really kind of hard to complain about that. You know, it took your opponent's absolute nut draws to beat you. I mean, took them having turn 3 Tron into a bunch of stuff, and then turn 2 TKS, turn 3 TKS, turn 4 Reality Smasher. Okay, well, it takes Baneslayer. See, I don't agree with this attack. I think you're supposed to attack Teferi here, but sure. So we basically got one draw to try to hit something now. So I guess the line is Uro, hope to hit path, or wins. We tried. We actually had a lot more draws than that because we also had the Coatl draws too. Because Coatl here, we could have blocked Thought Not Seer, taken 5, lived it. Really, Deck? For the extra rubbins, huh? Thanks, Untamed Cause. Nice hanging out tonight with you. So, yeah, the league was fun. You know, whatever you want to say, it was a learning experience. So, appreciate everybody hanging out tonight. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, as we do play donation deck lists like this from time to time. If you're interested in seeing your deck played, once again, it's $15. Won't be any more donation deck lists this week, other than Foz's ongoing project, but that's a whole nother horse of another color. Tomorrow night we'll be working on some is it Phoenix? Wrap up time. Deck's fine. Minor details I'd argue with is maybe you want another land or two, but Space Marine's going to have his point of view, so rest of the deck, pretty well tuned. Really don't have a whole lot else to say. You finally listened to me and played more removal spells in your blue-white control deck than Path to Exile. I think Winds of Abandon are better than On Thin Ice, because On Thin Ice opens you up to your land being blown up, or Abrupt Decay or something fearing their creature. So as much as it's a feel bad card, I think it's a necessary evil. Deprive has some spots where it's fine. Mana Leak has some spots where it's fine. Both have spots where they're bad. Deck's good. I mean, I really don't have a whole lot else to say. Deck's clunky in the first couple of turns, but that's what you're signing up for when you play this 80-card snow pile, and you're trading it for the ability that once you hit turn 4, 5, and 6, if you're keeping your head above water, you're probably winning the game. So, I am indeed. There is a link down below. It should be in the description, if I remember correctly. I put it pretty much in the description of everything. Should be there, I think. No, I think you're perfectly fine with the sweepers you've got. Um, like I don't think you really need more sweepers. Sweepers weren't really the problem. Like we had so many outs there to live, it was just we didn't draw them. I mean, it happens. Oh no, it's no problem. Untamed Chaos. It's no problem. So, the primary ways to donate is if you're on stream and I approve the list or whatever. You can obviously do a direct stream donation. Otherwise, there's a donation button in the banner on the main channel thing for PayPal. So, I don't know that this is a format where you want many Wraths of God. So, but yeah, Space Marine, your list is fine. There is like very little in the details I would argue with. Like I would say I'd want Mystical Dispute, but we beat 2 blue-white decks. I would say I don't like Deprive, but when you get into the mid-game, it's an awesome card. So for every argument I could have for something, this league had a counter-argument. So... But, deck was a blast. Got a 4-1. So, Space Marine gets to look good and brag about it for the next 2 or 3 weeks or month or year or whatever he does. But, the deck's good. I mean, I can argue about the details, but the deck's fine. It's a control deck I won with. What more can you say? Anywho, thanks for the donation, Space Marine. Untamed Chaos. If you want to message me with a deck list, that's fine. I tend to approve most lists for Pioneer or Modern. If you're willing to pay $15 to see it played, then I'm usually more than willing to play it. There aren't too many decks I don't play. So, well, yeah, you sent me that Esper list as the bait. I'm like, okay, I'll play it, but I don't think Esper's particularly good right now. But, yeah, deck's fine. Bad stuff. Anywho. You guys have a great night. I need to be getting to bed here for work tomorrow. So, Chaos, if you want to message me on Twitter, I'll get back to you ASAP. So, all right. You all have a great night. War Dog, get some sleep. Space Marine, have a good day. Everybody else, thanks for hanging out. This has been John for MTG Nexus. Bwahaha.